let's go through my 5 keys to success for the upcoming 2021 season. So, number 5, stay healthy, get off to a fast start. So, stay healthy to me goes without saying, because that's an assumption that we all make every year. That's just like saying every game, win the turnover battle. Like, it's just one of those things that it goes without saying. You say it anyway because it needs to be said. But in this sport in particular, every sport really, but in this sport in particular, you need your guys, you need your horses, you need your dogs, your big dogs, the ones that don't just bark but bite on the field in order to have a fighting chance. So staying healthy is half of number 5. The other half of number 5 is get off to a fast start. So I've made note of this because I've looked at the schedule briefly a couple of times. We're going to do it again right now, where I'm going to go over the schedule quickly, and we'll do this at a later date and time in a more intimate setting where we will actually go through the schedule and do the thing that I hate to do, which is predict wins and losses. However, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this schedule real quick. All right. So the first, and I only want to go through the first half of the schedule because that's what's important. I talked about getting off to a fast start. So this is why it's important. Chargers week 1, home. Giants week 2, home. Thursday. So quick turnaround week 2, home. Giants Thursday. Only game in the division in the first 13 weeks of the season. Bills, road, week 3. Week 4, Falcons, road. Week 5, home for the Saints. In that stretch of ball, let's go over it real quick. Chargers, Giants, home. Falcons, or Bills, Falcons, road. Saints, home. In that stretch of ball, first 5 games of the season, first 5 weeks of the season, you can't be any worse than 3-2. You really want to come out of that thing 4-1, honestly speaking. But you can't come out of that any worse than 3-2. You come out of that thing 2-3, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for this season to go sideways. Why? Why do I say that? Let's look at the next 5 games. Week 6, home for the Chiefs. Week 7, at the Packers. Week 8, at the Broncos. You go on a bye week. Week 10, at home against the Super Bowl defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So in that stretch of 5 games, you get Mahomes, Rodgers, and Brady. 4 games, I should say. In that stretch of 4 games, 5 weeks, 4 games, because you got a bye week in there. You get Mahomes, Rodgers, and Brady. You could conceivably lose all 3 of those games, maybe win the Denver game. I contend you need to get one of those games, maybe 2 of them, but you need to get at least one of them. 2 of them are at home against Mahomes and against Brady. Those are at the crib. But if you get off to a 2-3 start, and then you go through that 4-game stretch and you go 1-3, well, guess what? You're now 3-6. Now you're in the danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. Whereas if you go 3-2 and you go 1-3 in that stretch, now you're 4-5. You're right there. The next week after the Bucks, you got the Panthers. You could get back to 500 that next week. Win one for Ron. You dropped the last time he's played his old team. You got to win one for Ron. And I think that one might be in Carolina. And it is his first time going back to Bank of America. You can get back to 500. Go have yourself a season. You come out of the gates stumbling at 2-3, 1-4, your season's dead. Because you're not, if you don't have confidence by the time you get to Mahomes in week 6, shit's going downhill anyway. So number 5 is stay healthy. That's number 1. Got to stay healthy, but also get off to a fast start. Got to be 3-2 or better through the first 5 weeks of the season, or you're asking for trouble with those next 4 games. Number 4, can't play more than 2 quarterbacks the entire season. We can't do what we did last year. We can't do the quarterback carousel where we're going through 3 and 4 different quarterbacks. That's a recipe for disaster. Go look at the teams that win in this league. They're not playing 3 and 4 different dudes. Look, your starter may get injured. You may have to bring another guy in. It happens. Mahomes got injured. They had to bring in Chad Henne in a playoff game last year. We were going to blame it on the Henne if they lost. But he got it done. But you don't want to go to that third dude. We don't need to see 3 quarterbacks. 2 is the maximum. So whether it's Fitzpatrick and Heineke, or Heineke and then Fitzpatrick, or it's Fitzpatrick and then Allen, whatever the case, we don't need to go through all 3 of these guys. I feel confident that all 3 of these guys can get it done, which is a great luxury to have. But I don't want to find out this year. Honestly, you would prefer one guy start week 1 and go all the way through. That's the preference. That may not be the reality, but 2 quarterbacks. That's it. Can't go through any more than that. We start going through 3 dudes and we start playing musical chairs, I feel like shit's going to get ugly. 3. It's 2-parter here. No worse than 4-2 in the division. No worse than 4-2 in the division. That means somebody's got to get swept. Somebody's got to get their ass swept up. Maybe 2 teams. Maybe you get swept by somebody and then you sweep the other 2 teams. That's what we did last year. Swept the Dallas Cowboys, swept the Philadelphia Eagles, and we got swept up by the Giants. I don't want to do that shit this year. We got to beat the Giants. Even if we sweep them and we sweep the Cowboys, but we lose to the Eagles twice, I don't want to do that shit either. Everybody's got to get some. Everybody's got to get a piece of this ass whooping. So somebody's got to get swept up. If we split with Dallas and we split with Philly, but the Giants get the broom this year, so be it. They do for one. But we can't go any less than 4-2 if we're trying to have aspirations of winning this division or even making the postseason. 3-3, you're cutting it close. Anything worse than 3-3, you don't need to go anywhere but home. That's a rule. You don't get to make the postseason if you have a less than 500 record in the division. That's a rule. I don't make this stuff up. I just follow the rules. 4-2 in the division. Okay, that's the first half of number 3. The other half, we play Brady, we play Mahomes, we play Rodgers, we play Wilson, we play Allen. That's 5 of the best quarterbacks in the league. Brady, Wilson, Rodgers, Allen, Mahomes. 5. Of those 5 games, you got to find a way to go at least 2-3 in that stretch of those quarterbacks. 2-3. You got, I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't care how you divvy it up. I would prefer you beat the NFC quarterbacks, because if we get into a tiebreaker situation, they start looking at NFC common opponents. They start looking at conference record. But look, shit, I could care less. I'd love nothing more than to beat Allen and Mahomes and company. 2-3 or better out of those 5 quarterbacks. Now, you could go 4-1 against them. You can't piss that away by losing to Derek Carr and the Raiders, and you can't piss that away by losing to, the Saints and Jameis Winston and Sam Darnold and the Panthers. Like, you can't give away these momentous wins by then losing and giving it back by losing to somebody you should beat. That said, we can't worry about that. We can't worry about those games. These are the ones you know are going to be tough. You know Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, Wilson are going to be tough. You know that. I know that. That's 5 games. That's damn near a third of your schedule. If you can't go at least 2 and 3 in that stretch of games against those quarterbacks, I don't think you're going to have a legitimate shot. You go 1 and 4 against them, that's 4 losses already. We haven't gotten into division play. There are other teams that are going to be a tough task for us to deal with. You can't afford to lose 4 games out of 5 against those quarterbacks. They're good. Those teams are good. But if we think we're any good, you got to find a way to win a couple of those. Pick 2, any 2. I don't care which 2. Find a way to get at least 2 of them. So 4 and 2 in the division, and you've got to go at least 2 and 3 or better against the likes of Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Allen, or Wilson. Those 5 quarterbacks are all on the schedule. Got to find a way to win at least 2 of those.
LouieTeeNetwork.